consistently since about 9:50 tonight. You can see those storm forecast moving right across the Louisville area here at 11 o'clock. Give it another half hour. The bulk of those will be out of our area. It'll be fine to go to bed at that point. In the meantime, areas to our south will have to wait for that line to cross. Still going to pack a punch. We hit 85 today, a very warm day. In fact, a record tying day. That's plenty of energy in the atmosphere. The main threat at this is still the wind energy that we have across the region. And as I zoom into storms here in the metro, you'll notice plenty of rain and lightning, but it's small hail coming out of parts of Meade, Breckenridge counties, and in addition to that, some decent wind gusts coming in across parts of southern Indiana, and consequently we've had a number of power outages. Talk more about that coming up. Wind speeds up to 70+ miles per hour in southern Indiana, 51 miles per hour over in Oldham County. Here in Louisville, wouldn't be surprised to see those storms pack a punch of 40 to 50 miles per hour as well. Number of tornado warnings closer to the Cincinnati metro area. All severe thunderstorm warnings for us as this line continues to settle farther to the south. John, I've got much more with radar updates, power outages, and what to expect for the rest of the night. We'll check in with Ryan Hoke as well, coming up in just about 15 minutes.
All right, Kevin. Tonight, police are awaiting autopsy results. Kevin changed outfits today, too, put on the suit and tie because he had to come in studio because he said days ago we were going to have this right here behind me, these storms rolling through. Let's get an update right now.
It's my dress shoes on, but I do have those on today. Hey, you'll notice the lightning has led us a bit downtown. Wow, it was a light show earlier and still is for folks to our south. We're working on clearing some of the counties behind the main line from the tornado watch. All of southern Indiana in the clear. Areas to our south will eventually clear out through the night. That tornado. Here's the radar view. You'll notice those showers and storms with the lightning moving past the downtown area, southern parts of Jefferson County. We'll zoom in and I'll point out that here in the Jefferson County area, the heaviest rain and wind pushing closer toward Fern Creek and areas to the south. Our severe thunderstorm warning has expired here in Louisville, but to our south, you can see the number of counties that remain under it. And not only will they see the intense wind in a few places, these storms are showing some signs of weakening, but we have had a number of damage reports. Take a look. I mean, here in Louisville, we had wind speeds that were fairly strong. At the airport, you know, we recorded those 40 to 50 mile per hour winds as the, but you can see some wind damage that's occurred across parts of Indiana and all the way back out into Illinois. That wind damage inevitably brought power outages to some folks. Ryan Hoke is associated with these storms. Ryan?
Yeah, Kevin, with such strong winds, you're going to have some of these power outages. Just got a report in of a 64 mile per hour gust in Shelby County to right now Orange County, and that's where we have 10% of customers out, 389 customers right now. They have been hard hit. We've heard from folks on social media up there saying they saw the power outages and if the power flashes, the power went out. Clark County, Indiana, brand new number, 6%, 3,200 folks without power, customers without power, but Clark County, Indiana. The Louisville number has not hit this last check here. Looks like it's about 6,600 customers without power here in Jefferson County. You look off toward Oldham County, 5%, about 1,000 customers without power up that way. We'll take you on a little tour up toward Washington County. 518 customers out. That's about 3% of track customers in the county. Kevin, wherever we have these power outages are areas that have experienced some of these strong winds tonight. Thankfully, as you said, some of these storms are starting.
Pass by, it'll be safe to go to bed for everybody. Just had a report come in. The 76-mile marker up I-65, Bartholomew County, just outside of our viewing area. Tractor trailer overturned on 65. Wind suspected to be the cause. Here in the city, we still see the lightning from our SkyTrack. That is the current temperature. We hit 85 today. That's some of that energy needed for these strong storms tonight. It's a powerful cold front moving in. It's going to be much cooler days to come. 85 matches the record set back in 2011. The storms, still some severe to our south, likely through the rest. Here to keep an eye on it for you. 49 degrees for our overnight low. Tomorrow, we're the mid-80s, nowhere to be found. We'll go mid to upper 50s, about 30 degrees cooler tomorrow. Those temperatures are cooler at 55. Let's look to the Easter weekend. Wish I had better news. It's an 80% chance of rain Sunday, but we're back in the 60s. You can see much of next week, those high temperatures are in the 50s, nighttime lows in the 30s. A chilly extended forecast with minor rain chances that'll take us through the next 10 days. We'll keep an eye on that radar through the rest of the overnight hours for you. If we need to break into program, we'll be here. Otherwise, I hope you have a great night. We've got more Wave 3 news at 11 o'clock when we come back.
Covering southern Indiana 3, the Air 3 fleet, by Kentucky Kingdom and Hurricane Bay.
Getting bit by
Harned with you. We've had the tornado warning for parts of Nelson County. This see it's northeast, so it's off to the northeast of into the extreme northern part in county. So Springfield, right in line with Willisburg. There, this is storm we're watching. We'll zoom back out until the storm threat has passed, and that will take us on until the top of the hour, so midnight, when that warning is extended for. I'll mention that that is the strongest part of any storm that we have across the area. Most of these storms were fading and now interacting with some of those batteries. This off to the east at about 50 miles an hour. As that moves across the western Kentucky Parkway, it will move into northern parts of Washington County, moving out of the area. Once again, this storm is capable of producing a tornado. It's radar indicated. That's the best data that we have at this point. You can see those storms moving off to the east at about 50 miles an hour. It's about 8 miles northeast of Bardstown at this point. So down off to the north and east, this will be moving off to the east at 50 miles an hour at the forward speed of that storm. All right, when you take a look across Indiana, again, calm there in terms of severe action is now south. We have a number of severe thunderstorm in Shelby County, Spencer County, as well as hard southern half of counties. These storms likewise to a threat across the part of Hardly, southern Nelson County, but most intensity is the tornado warning Nelson County. I'm going to walk over to the computer so I can zoom in closer for you. Show you a storm. You see the latest severe thunderstorm warning coming out, and let me zoom into that while we have it up, and you'll notice that includes areas down the line. So that also is the severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings that we're watching. Those stretch all the way from Nicholasville to Harrodsburg down to Lebanon, Kentucky. All right, back to the radar we go as we zoom back in. I'm going to mention that not only do we see the little rotation with this storm, which is why the tornado warning has been issued, but we also see the potential for some small hail with this storm as that moves through. Again, that rotation showing up not far from the Bloomfield area, moving off to things. And again,
also in now nickel-size hail, but it could be up to quarter-size hail. So you don't want to venture outside and look at this thing. Look, it's dark right now. You're not going to see any. You'll likely hear the hail on your roof, and that'll be your indication that you're getting it. With the tornado warning in place, we want to make sure that everybody is in now, especially as we head into North Washington County areas just west of Willisburg. You guys are under the main threat right now from this potential tornado moving in. Again, no confirmation of a tornado yet. We've been going over some of the storm reports, but we're going to continue to make some phone calls here and get the latest information. Kevin.
All right. Again, reports coming in with Nelson County for good reason. It's northeast Nelson County. So many of you hearing the sirens, maybe waking up saying, do I need to hit the basement? Most of you, the answer is no. If you're up around the Bloomfield area and just off to the east, to cross over along the Bluegrass Parkway into extreme northern parts of Washington County, the answer there is yes. You should be in your tornado safe place. That potential tornado would be moving across the county line in the northeast part of Nelson County over into county at this point. And that's exactly what we're seeing with the radar view as we speak. So let's go back to the reflectivity of this, and you'll notice the heavy rain pushing through along with the potential for hail with that storm moving northern parts of Nelson County and Washington County. Again, that continues to move off to the south and east. It's moving roughly at about 50 miles an hour, and with that passing by, we will see some gusty winds and the potential for the tornado. Again, it's all radar indicated at this point, so it's very tough to sort of pick out at night. You can't see it. It's not something that you're going to be able to walk outside and spot. It is very broad on the radar that we're looking at here. Nonetheless, back to the reflectivity we go, to the velocity we go. County. approaching the Willisburg area. This is all north of Springfield. It's a fairly rural area of Washington County, but nonetheless, if you're familiar with Willisburg, Maud, you can see this would be the zone that we're watching already across the county border. This northeast Nelson County. This is where we have the greatest rotation showing up across this area. Now, we have had a number of damage reports already throughout our viewing area to strong winds. This is the only tornado warning we've had in the viewing area, and we continue to watch the radar out of Nashville. Let's go over to Ryan Hoke with an update. Ryan?
All right, Kevin, just got off the phone with Nelson County Dispatch. They say that they have a number of power poles down, trees down, and a field that is on fire at this time. That could be due to lightning. So there is damage being reported out of Nelson County. There's no sort of confirmation or report tornado touchdown yet. It's dark. It may take some time for that to be assessed. But right now, power poles down, trees down, and a field that's on fire in Nelson County. That's their status at this time.
We know that to down power poles or have any kind of power outage, it takes some pretty strong winds. Obviously, it could be a tornado. Regardless, we have to treat it like it's one. The radar shows the rotation. We know that now we have power lines down and damage being reported, that at the very least there would be some strong winds with this moving right toward the Willisburg area. Should this tornado warning get extended, it would include the Willisburg area as it moves eventually through the rest of northern Washington County and eventually out of the county. But for now, the northeast part of Nelson County, we've already seen some damage area. The warning will be trimmed back not to include you, as that rotation is now greatest in Washington County. That's what we're seeing, not only with the storms in County, but areas farther to the south. We have a number of severe thunderstorm warnings that continue as well, and we've had some damage with those. Wind speeds as high as 70+ miles per hour, and those continue to press off to our south and southeast. Again, the only tornado warning that we have moving across Washington County and Kentucky, that warning goes until midnight tonight. I'm going to take you to our home view. As we go back to our home view, let me just do it manually here. I'll go back over and point out that we have a number of areas the storms that we have across the area. And I'll ask the control room to make sure that I can interact with the key. Something is not working correctly there. Back to our home view we go, and I'm going to zoom back out and put on the radar view. As we look at that reflectivity, you can see to our south strong storms even across parts of southern Nelson County. Those are severe storms with strong winds possible. Those warnings continue south of Bardstown, moving into Marion County and the rest of Washington County. So that line in itself would have the ability to produce some very strong winds. This zone anywhere through that area. Let me just take this back here. Let me go back to this. I'm going to put the there we go. Anywhere from, say, Manton, my hometown, New Haven, down to Loretta, Springfield, that would be a zone of some very strong winds. Obviously, the northern part of Washington County has the zone for the strongest rotation and consequently the tornado threat. Now, with that said, it doesn't mean we would not see the potential for those strong winds to cause just as much damage. All right, so that's something that you just have to keep in mind as those storms continue to move through. Wind damage, tornado damage, regardless, it doesn't matter when you have 70+ mile per hour winds. We have had damage coming out of parts of Nelson County, especially northeast Nelson, where this storm has been rolling across. That would translate into northern Washington County, close to the Willisburg area, as we bring this storm off to the south and east, again moving at about 50 miles an hour. So we had a number of reports of damage today coming out of this area. We continue to make phone calls. The tornado warning, because the threat is diminishing, the rotation is diminishing, that tornado warning will be allowed to expire early. So technically it was in place until midnight. The Weather Service is going to let that expire within the next minute or so. So we'll wait for word on that, and then we'll get you back to late night programming. Jimmy Fallon waiting to come on here, and we'll join him in progress. Nonetheless, the severe weather will continue. There goes the tornado warning, as promised, expired. The severe thunderstorm warning continues off to our south for parts of Anderson, Jessamine, Mercer, Nelson. That includes the Bardstown area, but the heaviest storms are past Bardstown. So Marion County, including Loretto, Washington County, including Springfield. You've got strong storms moving in, but the tornado threat has now expired. The rotation not as strong. Let's get one more check from Ryan Hoke before we go back to Jimmy Fallon, and let's get an update from him.
Okay, Kevin, yeah, at this time we continue to track that rotation, and the rotation is just in the Willisburg area at this point, but they've allowed that tornado warning to expire. So at this point, there are no further damage reports that I have seen from Nelson County, only what we have seen so far, which was the power poles down, the trees down, and the field on fire, probably from lightning there in the eastern parts of Nelson County, Kevin. So we'll continue to relay any reports that we get this evening.
Let me ask a question. When you were on the phone with dispatch, did they tell you where the power poles were down and the power line?
We had that kind of scattered throughout, so no specific locations on that at this time.
Okay, so may or may not have been related to the tornado warning itself. And my point in saying that is all along that line, we have the potential for very strong winds that can down power lines and cause some issues. So you have to treat it as though it's fairly powerful along that entire line. Continues to move off to the south. Here's the deal. We're going to watch this closely. If we need to jump back on, we will. In the meantime, I want you to get some rest tonight. We'll keep an eye on the radar. We'll be back with updates throughout the commercial breaks of Jimmy Fallon and beyond. We're here all night for you. We'll get you back to Jimmy Fallon, and we'll jump in as necessary. Northeast Nelson County, Washington County. That rotation fizzles just a bit. The storm's still strong. We still have the severe thunderstorm warning across southern Nelson County. It's past the Bardstown area, now moving into Washington and Marion counties. That will continue moving off to the south and east. It's moving at about Louisville. A few rumbles of thunder still going on, some decent rain still falling, but the threat of severe weather is ending. Our temperature will be falling. So the only warning that we have to our south includes Anderson, Jessamine, Mercer, Nelson counties, Marion County in that as well. That goes until 12:15. We'll keep a close eye on that. Otherwise, we'll get you back to regular programming and be here as needed. I'm Kevin Harned.
We now join our regularly scheduled program already in progress.
The only issues are to our south, where we still have a strong cluster of storms across extreme southern Washington County, moving into Marion County, soon to be out of the entire region, and we could all get some rest tonight. You'll notice the skies lit up with lightning in many places as well. Again, the severe thunderstorm warnings continue down in that area for several more minutes. Those severe thunderstorm warnings will go until 12:45 tonight, so about another half hour on those storms, and then they should be cleared and out of the area. We'll work on getting the rain out of here tonight and then set the stage for a much cooler day tomorrow with highs in the 50s. We're here to keep an eye on the weather for you all night long. I'm Kevin Harned.